Well, good morning from just north of St. George, Utah. Today we are heading out for a quick little trip northwest. We're going to go check out the Great Basin National Park, one of the least visited national parks in the country, and check out some of the sights to see there, do a little bit of camping, and maybe a little bike riding, certainly a little bit of hiking. So hope you'll come along with us on this 2 or 3 day adventure. Let's get to it. It's an easy 3-hour drive to Great Basin National Park from St. George. Once we exited Interstate 15 and headed west, we had Highway 21 pretty much to ourselves. This peaceful and scenic drive takes you up and over multiple low mountain ranges and down into small basins. There are stretches of the road that are arrow straight, and on the day we traveled, they were completely empty. Make sure you have plenty of fuel on board, as there are no gas stations for the 80-mile stretch between Milford and Baker. All right, well, we're at the visitor center and picked up a map and checked in for our cave tour tomorrow. We've already got our camp spot picked out. We ended up at Baker Creek Campground and found a nice little spot. And actually, there was more people there than I expected. So what do you think so far?
Oh, I think we've just scratched the surface. I mean, it's super pretty here. Temperatures are perfect. Yeah, I'm intrigued.
All right, so we're gonna take a drive up the Wheeler Peak Scenic Drive. I don't think you can get all the way up because of construction, but yeah, we'll go up a ways, and that'll help us kind of map out the lay of the land. The Wheeler Peak Scenic Drive is a winding 12-mile road that climbs to over 10,000 feet, all the way to the face of Wheeler Peak. Along the way, you gain over 4,000 feet in elevation and cross through numerous ecological zones. As you climb to the sky, you'll pass through sagebrush, then pinyon and juniper pines, mountain mahogany, conifers, and finally aspens. There are a couple of scenic overlooks on the way up, so if you're short on time, you can still enjoy great views of Wheeler Peak and the desert valley below. At 13,063 feet, Wheeler Peak is the second tallest mountain in Nevada and home to the Wheeler Peak Glacier, which is the only glacier in the entire state. After our long drive to the park and up and down Wheeler Peak Scenic Drive, we decided on a short hike to work out the kinks and stretch our legs. The South Fork Baker Creek Trail fit the bill perfectly, and it was close to our campground. It's good to be out of the car, even if it's hard to breathe. Nice to stretch the legs a little bit. All right, this will be a good turnaround point. South Fork Baker, Timber Creek, Baker Lake. Okay, well, we've been hiking for about an hour. And yeah, you know,
The reward is this meadow.
right.
All the rocky incline was worth it. Absolutely worth it.
There was a lot of incline. It's a cliche now that we've done our research, you know, about Nevada. You can't believe this is Nevada. You expect it to be a desert, empty, you know. Expect it to all look like what it looked like driving out, which actually had its own beauty. But
oh yeah, wide open plains, then a little mountain range, wide open plains.
Right, but yeah, this is as mountainous and alpine as any state I've ever been in, and this is beautiful.
It's a reward.
Yeah.
That climb, I feel rewarded.
And there's a ton of trails, hiking trails, from easy to moderate to strenuous. I think most of them are rated strenuous. This is a moderate, which I think is fair.
That's fair.
But you could come out here and hike, you know.
Because you could just do it at your own pace.
Yeah.
You know, yes, you're going uphill, and yes, it's rocky and loose rock, but just do it at your own pace.
Yeah. Down we go. Beautiful hike.
not literally though. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna watch our step. All right, well, we're back at camp. We're in site 33.
Yes.
And again, it's at the Baker Creek campground. So we're just taking a little break here, not too long, and then we're gonna head back down to Baker, which is what, 10 minutes, 12 minutes?
Yeah.
And find some dinner. Good morning. Beginning of day 2. And we had a very quiet, calm night. Couldn't really see any stars because the moon was out, but we had a beautiful sunrise. So we are embarking on another hike right out of our campsite, heading down towards Great Close Campground, which is a group campground that we tried to figure out yesterday. And then if we're ambitious, we'll go on past that onto Pole Canyon. See where that takes us. Okay, we walked from our campsite down here and we're at about 1.5 miles. Otherwise, you could drive down this road, Pole Canyon Road. You access it from Great Cliffs Campground. Drive down that road and then you can park here in this picnic area and start the hike from here. Now we've done 1.5 miles all downhill, so we're going to be slogging back up 1.5 miles to get back to camp. Maybe go 1 mile on this and turn around. That'd be funny. And if it starts to get, if we start to lose a lot of elevation, we'll just cut our losses. That's pretty. Goes up. I kind of expected us to be going to the left. I don't know why. We're about 1/2 mile up Pole Canyon Trail, and it has changed characters. It was basically a gravel road for a bit. Now we're suddenly into the single track, into the sort of verdant, lush area. We are approaching a decision point. Either we continue on and reconnect with Baker Creek Trailhead, where we started and finished our hike yesterday, or we turn around at some point soon. The thing about turning around is then we head all the way back downhill, and then we got to go back all the way back uphill back to the camp. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, very pretty. Okay, we're at about 3 miles, and I think we've decided to forge on.
Of course we did.
Naturally, and take this all the way to the Baker Creek Trailhead. One interesting thing is, feels like we're kind of we are in a canyon, obviously Pole Canyon, but I don't see an exit point that would get us over a canyon, because we need to be on the other side of that mountain or hill to, that's where we're camped, as near as I can tell. It shall be revealed that if we had to turn around, it would be downhill and mostly shaded. So relying on that quote unquote bailout. But it sure is beautiful in this lovely, opened in this lovely meadow.
All to ourselves.
Yeah. This is kind of what parts of this trail I like. Very damp ground. Okay, we're coming up on a sign, which is reassuring in and of itself, depending upon what it says. But 1.5 miles. Baker Creek Trailhead. Whew. Right? Here's the part where you go like, you probably can't see, but my guess, uneducated, is that we're gonna go over that side. What do you think?
It's beautiful.
This is definitely different than yesterday, right? There's just so much more meadows and grassland, wetlands almost. I'm sure that it's underwater sometime of year in the Aspen. It's beautiful. This will be stunning in the fall. We may have to come back if we live. Well, onward and upward.
A mile and a half is encouraging.
Yeah. You know, when I did the intro for this, I talked about how it's an exploratory trip. At least I think I did. If I didn't, it is our first time here. And so you start to get the lay of the land. Given all this time to reflect and contemplate, i.e. miles of walking, it's like, oh, where we're gonna come out is where we parked yesterday. So we could park the truck at the top with the cooler, ride our, yeah, cooler with beers or whatever your beverage of choice is, and then hop on our bikes, ride down the gravel roads, down to the trailhead, hike up, then at the top of the hike, you got your cooler. Then you drive back down and get your bikes. And that's kind of like a reverse shuttle versus mountain bike shuttles. I mean, you're still riding downhill, but you're climbing, you're walking up instead of driving back up. I think I'm delirious. Meanwhile, up, up, up. Oh, look at that. Holy smokes. Woo! And if I haven't mentioned it previously, this is a hiking park. This is not a biking park. If you are a hiker, you will be in heaven on earth. And you don't really have to share the trails with anyone. Coming up on another dramatic corner shot. There it is. There's the monolith that calls us home. Holy schmoly. I'd say that's legit.
There's no way that's only 4 miles.
Graceful. Yesterday we came back down, went up and came down this South Fork of the Baker Creek Trail. And we've just come down this, which is Timber Creek Trail, which leads to Pole Canyon. And Pole Canyon was the trail that we took this morning many, many miles ago. And now we're back on familiar territory and heading for the trailhead parking lot. So if you come this way, I've left this life-saving hiking stick here. It may not be here when you get here, but hopefully someone will leave one just like it somewhere. We made it back to the trailhead, which is a welcome sight. Yeah, they have the road up to the Wheeler Peak trailhead closed this morning. We went up to try to do an Alpine Lake hike, but they had the road closed even further down. So that idea, we had to go to Plan B, and this was Plan B. A 6 mile-ish hike, we think. So anyway, it's been beautiful, fun, challenging. All right, we made it. Barely. And now we'll get off our feet, put our feet up, eat some lunch, and get ready for the cave adventure, which is next on the agenda. One of the most popular attractions at the park are the Lehman Caves. The largest cave system in Nevada, this fascinating labyrinth is definitely worth checking out. Ranger-led tours last around 30 minutes and are available year-round. Be sure and make reservations in advance, as the tours almost always sell out. We are heading into our last evening here. We really enjoyed the cave tour. I don't know if any of the images will turn out. If they did, you'll have already seen them. But very interesting.
Yeah.
And just what we needed after our death hike today. It was low key, it was a little bit cooler, and you know, kind of fitting because so much of this area has been formed by water and ice. And
15 million years ago.
all the creeks that go through here, you know, the snow that happens in the winter, the caves which are formed by water seeping through. It's really a beautiful, green, lovely, rugged area. I did a little research, and this is like the 10th least visited national park in the United States. Less than 200,000 visitors per year in whatever year the article I read was published.
And that's okay with me.
Yeah, that's great. So highly recommend making this trip. It's 3 hours from Vegas, probably 3 hours
From
if you
southern
dilly-dally, 3 hours from St. George. I'm not sure, probably 3 hours from Salt Lake, 3.5 hours. So kind of centrally located. Worth the trip, especially if you're into hiking. This is a hiker's haven.
Yeah.
Everything's at altitude, so that is a factor. But as long as you respect that and hydrate a lot, you're going to be fine, and you're going to love it. We sure did, and we'll be back. So thanks for coming along, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for coming along.
Bye.